I talked to a cat the other day, and he was like, man, I really want to come to Christ, but I got to clean my life up first, get my sins together. I told him, I used to think that way too. I thought I had to change myself before I could come to Christ, but Christ changed me. Let me tell you my story. It starts like this.
I ended up incarcerated. I did rehabs and I did overnighters, but I never actually, I got out of everything. I was the person who always got caught, and I'd do an overnighter, and I'd be on the streets. But this time it was real. I ended up getting involved. I robbed the pharmacy. I was with another guy. And still I thought I was going to get out of it. But so I did time in the Lawrence County Jail. And I went in first, with a tough guy attitude. And I don't know why I thought I was tough. I was 150 pounds, about tall as I am now. I looked like a toothpick. I don't know who I was going to beat up. But I had a mouth like a little chihuahua. I could bark it up. And I'm glad I had friends, because I didn't know what I could have really done. You do drugs and stuff. You guys know. You come in here, you eat, start eating right. You quit. You quit smoking. If you quit smoking, you get off the drugs, the alcohol, and you start putting a little weight on. You're like, oh, look, I'm buff. Looking in the mirror. Oh my gosh, we're always looking in the mirror, checking on our biceps. And when you're on dope and stuff, you ain't got nothing. You're just looking at bones. So I go to jail, and I'm just playing a tough guy attitude because here I am. I'm not sure what's going on. Where my life's headed. Again, never knew Christ throughout my whole life. Never knew. My parents, Bibles weren't in the house. The only time I came into a church is for free lunch. Free lunch is probably about it. Free lunch. You know about free lunch? You went to them, when you was a little kid. They used to hold them in all the little churches. Free lunches, that's about it. I went to church a couple of times when I was younger. I think a girl asked me one time to go to church on Christmas Eve or something. And I went with her just because I liked her. But I don't remember the sermon or anything. It was some kind of Easter play. And I didn't understand it. I didn't know who Jesus Christ was. So I go to jail, I got this attitude, I'm a tough guy, this, that. And then, a couple of nights just laying in there and looking at the walls. And anyone who's been in jail, people draw on the walls and stuff. And the one had a bullseye, and it was, and it said, after a couple of days, I forget how the exact wording on it was, something like, after so many days, each spot where you beat your head at. And I got to that point being in a holding cell, because you go on a 72-hour blackout period. We have no contact with nobody. You get fled through a slot, no shower, no nothing. You are in a total blackout, you and your cellie. And I was starting to lose it. And all of the things people said about me, the girls I dated and their parents said, you're going to be a nobody. You're going to wind up in jail. It came to pass. And I'm like, wow, they're right. All the people who said, life is this way, and it stinks, and don't even try. It all started to come to pass. I started thinking, is this what you want out of life? I started looking around. I seen the negativity. I was looking at the different guys in there, different friends I grew up with, and is this what I really want? But I didn't have the answer. I didn't know there was still a way. I make it to the block, and through the thing, I'll make my summary short so we can get into the Word. Because you didn't come to hear all about me, we can't get into the Word. I get on the block, and I pick up the Purpose-Driven Life book, and through a series of things, I'm hearing the guy we robbed actually turned out to be a Christian. And this is where I started thinking about God. He said the reason He didn't give us anything is through the robbery, we didn't get any prescription drugs off Him or anything. He said the reason He did is He had God with Him. And I thought about those words. I was with my boys, and we were laughing about the quote saying, this guy's crazy. He almost got killed, and he got God with Him. He needs more than God. He would have got it if we were acting like we were tough. So I picked up the Purpose-Driven Life book, and I started reading Rick Warren. Rick Warren's telling me, you got a purpose. And somebody loves you. And somebody has your back. In the back of my mind, I'm like, this can't be real. Because every friend I had either robbed me, stole a girlfriend off me, just fouled me in some way, talked behind my back. My parents, I could never really trust them, My mom ran around when I was younger. My dad was here doing his thing. They were never really faithful to their word. They were never really there. They were good people, but they were never really there. So throughout my life, school teachers, everybody, nobody was ever really there, And I think about that, and it's so hard to think about this loving Father who has this awesome plan for me. And I couldn't picture it. But be honest, guys, all I did, I started picking up the Word. I read the Purpose of the book. I started picking up the Word, and I kept feeding on it. And God kept peeling me like an onion. And worship came through me because in jail, it wasn't like this kind of setting. But we only had church on certain nights. And I remember a guy coming in, and I seen Christ in his eyes. And I was learning from him, I was feeding off him. But I remember seeing his eyes and looking, and he had big blue eyes. I remember seeing the fire, and I said, I want that. Because throughout life, we all look at people who are on drugs, or who have the Mercedes-Benz, or who are on the rap videos, or the rock videos, and they got everything, or the TV shows, and we think they got the life. But all that was gone. All I could see was guys in orange and brick walls, and I seen this guy with Jesus in his eyes. And I said, that's what I want.